For millennia, ancient civilizations understood that life doesn't happen by chance. They knew there were moments when invisible portals opened, allowing access to a hidden truth. The March 20th equinox is one of those moments. It's a cosmic event so powerful that, if understood and used the right way, it can completely redefine your reality. The Egyptians built pyramids that captured this energy. The Mayans designed temples where, on this day, a serpent of light moved across the stone. The Druids performed sacred rituals to cross the veil between worlds. They knew the equinox was more than just a seasonal shift. It was an energetic reset, an alignment between visible and invisible forces that shape human consciousness. Science explains this phenomenon as the moment when day and night are exactly the same length and the sun crosses the celestial equator. But for the initiated, this balance isn't just physical, it's a vibrational adjustment, a portal that separates what was from what is yet to come. If you've been feeling something different in the past few days, if you've noticed signs, vivid dreams, sudden energy shifts, know that this isn't random. The ancients taught that those who hear the call of the equinox are being prepared for an irreversible transformation. But this call cannot be ignored. Your thoughts, your emotions, and your intentions now carry more weight. This is the time to transmute what no longer serves you and access a new level of consciousness. If you ignore this opportunity, everything will remain the same. But if you accept the call, if you choose to step through this portal, nothing will ever be the same again. The choice is before you. Are you ready? The March Equinox is one of the most powerful moments of the year. For a single day, light and darkness come into absolute balance. Day and night have exactly the same duration, creating a moment of perfect harmony. This alignment doesn't just happen in the sky, it also happens within every human being. It's an energetic reset, a transition point that marks the end of one cycle and the birth of another. Many ancient cultures understood the significance of this day. The Egyptians observed that on the equinox, sunlight penetrated deep into sacred temples, illuminating secret chambers that remained in darkness for the rest of the year. They saw this as a symbol of awakening consciousness, the moment when what was hidden could finally be revealed. For the Mayans, the equinox was when the serpent of light descended the pyramid of Kukulkan in Chichen Itza, an incredible optical phenomenon that symbolized divine energy descending to Earth. The Celts celebrated this date with rituals marking the passage from winter to spring, recognizing that nature was awakening and that the same awakening was happening within each person. The modern calendar has conditioned us to believe that the year starts in January, but this is a recent convention, created without considering natural rhythms. For true alchemists, the real new year has always begun with the March Equinox. They knew this was the point where nature renews itself, where the planet's energy reorganizes, where life wakes from its slumber and prepares to bloom. January is a transition month where many energies from the previous cycle are still lingering. March, however, is ignition, the true starting point for any major transformation. The sun enters the sign of Aries, bringing with it the energy of initiating fire. Aries is the first sign of the zodiac, the archetype of action, courage, and primal impulse. This is the moment when the universe invites us to take the first step. The hesitation of the past must be left behind. It's no longer time to wait, to endlessly plan, to be trapped by the limitations of what was. It's time to create, to move, to ignite the inner flame and use it to light a new path. The equinox is not just a seasonal shift. It's an invitation for each person to find that same balance within themselves, to recognize their shadows, but also their light, to understand that every transformation requires courage, but that this is the perfect moment to burn away what no longer serves and allow the new to bloom. The great work and the alchemical process of the equinox. The transformation has already begun. Something inside you feels different, as if an invisible layer is peeling away, What once seemed solid is starting to dissolve, and a new perception is beginning to emerge. This isn't just a feeling. It's a real, deep, and ancient process. Alchemists called this stage of transmutation the shift from nigredo to albedo. Nigredo is darkness, collapse, the moment when illusions fall apart and everything that no longer serves you must be faced. It's the weight of old beliefs, repetitive patterns, and outdated versions of who you thought you were. In the silence of this phase, everything unravels, and for many, it may feel like an ending. But the ancients knew it's not an end, it's the beginning. The equinox symbolizes this turning point. Light returns, darkness begins to retreat, and something new awakens. This is the moment of albedo, purification. Just as nature awakens in spring, human consciousness also goes through this blooming. What was once dense now becomes refined. What was once doubt now transforms into clarity. The great sages taught that all true transformation must pass through the cycle of dissolution and reintegration. They called this principle solve et coagula. First, what is old and rigid must dissolve. Thoughts, emotions, internal structures, everything that blocks progress must be broken down. And then reconstruction begins. But this isn't about going back to who you were before. The alchemical process is not a return to the past. It's the creation of something entirely new. Ancient civilizations used this equinox period to access higher dimensions of reality. The Egyptians performed initiation rites inside temples where sunlight entered at perfect angles, marking the soul's rebirth. Shamans from various traditions saw this time as a portal to travel between worlds and receive visions of what was to come. Medieval alchemists believed this was the moment when matter and spirit could align, accelerating the process of enlightenment. The key to this transmutation has always been within the human body itself. In the symbolism of the alchemical serpent, this dormant energy moves up the spine, activating higher centers of perception. The equinox awakens this hidden force, pushing consciousness beyond the limits of the ordinary. That's why so many people feel deep changes during this time: intense dreams, stronger intuition, an inexplicable urge to break free from the old and start something new. None of this is random. If you feel this shift, it's because you're already inside the process. The question now isn't whether it's happening, but how you're going to move through it. Eclipses and the dissolution of the old reality. But there are moments when transformation speeds up and nothing can remain the same. Even before the equinox, the sky has already begun to shift. Between March 14 and March 29th, two eclipses open a portal of intense reconfiguration, dissolving the old structure of reality and paving the way for rebirth. The ancients knew that eclipses were not just celestial events, but windows into hidden realities, moments when the boundaries between the visible and the invisible became thinner. The first of these events has already taken place. The lunar eclipse on March 14th was a call to let go, a point of release for patterns that had been deeply rooted in the collective psyche for a long time. Emotions surfaced, old cycles repeated for the last time, and everything that had been hidden became undeniably clear. Lunar eclipses work on the emotional and subconscious levels, and this one, in particular, stirred deep ancestral memories. Many felt the weight of past stories, family patterns becoming obvious, relationships dissolving or transforming without warning. It was a time of revelations, but also of necessary endings. Now, as the equinox approaches, the energy begins to reorganize. But the great activation will come on March 29th with the solar eclipse. Unlike the first, this one doesn't call for release, but for initiation. If the lunar eclipse dug deep into the layers of consciousness, the solar eclipse marks a new cycle, a moment when reality reshapes itself. Alchemists saw solar eclipses as the moment when matter became more malleable, as if the universe entered a state of suspension where new intentions could be planted and timelines could be altered. The brief darkness of the moon over the sun has always been interpreted as a cosmic reset, a moment when the original light returns, renewed. That's why ancient civilizations performed rituals during this period, understanding that whatever was declared under the shadow of the eclipse would carry amplified power in the months to come. This is not just an astronomical event, it's a sign that something is shifting on a much larger scale, both in the sky and within every human being. The mystery of the Venus star point and the alchemy of love and purpose. The transformation continues to unfold. The first eclipse has already passed, bringing to the surface what needed to be released. The equinox is approaching, setting the stage for a new cycle. And even before this portal fully opens, a rare alignment takes place. On March 22nd, Venus meets the Sun in a phenomenon known as the Venus star point. This event marks a point of death and rebirth within Venus's cycle. During this moment, Venus temporarily disappears from the sky, absorbed by the Sun's intense glow. The ancients saw this as a purification process, where Venus's energy underwent a kind of rebirth before returning with a renewed vibration. Venus has always been associated with love, harmony, and beauty, but its influence goes far beyond romantic feelings. In alchemical understanding, Venus represents the union of complementary forces, the bridge between matter and spirit, the principle of fusion that drives transformation. This alignment doesn't just affect relationships, it also impacts internal values, soul desires, and the path of purpose. When Venus goes through this symbolic death within the Sun, we are invited to reflect on what we truly value. What are we willing to leave behind? What emotional patterns, beliefs, and worn-out connections need to be transmuted? This moment pushes us into a deep realignment where everything that isn't in sync with our true path becomes undeniable. Ancient alchemists saw this phase as a moment of integration. After passing through this purification, Venusian energy resurfaces with new strength, activating creativity, awakening dormant desires, and revealing what truly matters in each person's journey. This isn't just any alignment. It's a reset point, where old stories burn in the sun's light, making way for something new to emerge. The energy of the equinox. The ancients never left anything to chance. To them, the equinox was more than just a seasonal change. It was a portal, an alignment between Earth and the cosmos, a moment when the very structure of reality became more fluid. But how did they know this? And why did so many civilizations, separated by vast distances, build their temples and monuments with such precision, synchronized to this celestial event? The pyramids of Egypt, the Mayan structures, the Druids' stone circles, and even monuments from lesser-known cultures all share a common secret. They were built in alignment with the equinox. These ancient peoples understood that the sun's position during this time not only marked the shift in natural cycles, but also altered the planet's vibration, creating an opportunity to access hidden knowledge and accelerate spiritual evolution. In Chichen Itza, Mexico, the pyramid of Kukulkan was designed so that, on the equinox, sunlight projects a luminous serpent slithering down its staircase. The Mayans didn't see this as just an architectural marvel. It was a representation of awakened consciousness, of spiritual energy descending to Earth to guide humanity. The Egyptians, on the other hand, built temples where, at this exact time of year, light would pass through narrow corridors, illuminating statues and hidden chambers. To them, this symbolized rebirth, the transition from darkness to illumination, a direct reflection of the soul's journey through the great alchemical work. Stonehenge in England, along with other stone circles across Europe, functioned as energetic portals aligned to harness the sun's power during the equinox. The Druids performed rituals at this time, believing that the veil between worlds became thinner, allowing for more direct communication with spiritual planes and strengthening their connection to nature's cycles. What did these civilizations know that has been forgotten over time? They understood that Earth and the celestial bodies are interconnected through invisible energy fields, and that the movement of the sun on these specific days influenced not only the physical world, but also human consciousness. To them, the equinox was not just an astronomical event, but an activation point. a moment when light and shadow balanced, opening a unique opportunity for transmutation. This impact doesn't just happen outside of us, it happens within us as well. The human body, being an extension of nature, responds to this vibrational shift. Planetary alignment directly affects the chakras, especially the higher ones, enhancing psychic sensitivity and intensifying perception. The recalibration of Earth's magnetosphere alters brainwaves, making expanded states of consciousness more accessible. This shift directly affects the pineal gland, which the ancients called the all-seeing eye, a gland that modern science recognizes as responsible for regulating the circadian rhythm and our perception of time. During the equinox, this gland receives intensified stimulation, explaining why so many people report vivid dreams, heightened intuition, and a sense that something greater is about to unfold. Physically, many people experience energy fluctuations, periods of extreme fatigue, followed by bursts of pure inspiration and mental clarity. Some feel an inexplicable urge to change their lives, to break free from old patterns, to reconnect with something they can't quite name yet. These are signs that the body is processing this new frequency. The ancients knew this was the ideal time for renewal rituals. Practices like fasting, meditating at sunrise, and direct contact with nature helped integrate this energy without resistance. They understood that the equinox didn't just mark an external transition, it offered a rare opportunity to awaken consciousness to something far greater than ordinary reality. Alchemical rituals to cross the equinox portal. The body already feels the shift, consciousness begins to expand, and the energy of the equinox intensifies. But to cross this portal of transformation consciously, preparation is essential. The ancients didn't just recognize the power of this moment, they knew that how someone aligns with this energy can shape the course of the new cycle that begins. That's why they use specific rituals to purify, anchor intentions, and connect directly with the sun's force. The first step is to cleanse the energetic field. Just as the earth undergoes renewal, humans also need to release the vibrational residue accumulated over previous cycles. The purification ritual works with the four elements: fire, which burns and transmutes; water, which dissolves and renews; air, which moves and expands; and earth, which stabilizes and sustains. Fire can be represented by a candle flame or by smudging with herbs like sage, rosemary, or myrrh, which help clear dense energies from the environment and auric field. Water, whether through herbal baths or simply immersing in a river or the ocean, helps dissolve emotional and mental blockages. Air can be worked through conscious breathing, releasing everything that no longer serves with each exhale. And earth, by walking barefoot or connecting with crystals like selenite and clear quartz, helps stabilize this new frequency. With the field purified, the next step is anchoring and manifestation. The equinox is a perfect balance between light and shadow, a moment when intentions become more powerful. The ancients understood that planting a seed during this portal meant it would carry the strength of an entire new cycle. Writing intentions on paper and burying them in the earth is one of the oldest anchoring methods. The roots symbolize commitment to what is being manifested, and the earth serves as a fertile ground for these intentions to grow. Lighting a candle during this process amplifies the vibration of the request, while placing a glass of water nearby allows energy to flow without resistance. The solar connection ritual is an essential practice during the equinox. The sun represents the primordial force of life, and on this day, its light carries a unique energetic code. Stepping outside at sunrise or sunset and greeting the sun with open palms is a symbolic and energetic act of absorbing this power. Deep breathing and visualizing golden light penetrating every cell of the body help integrate this energy, awakening higher states of consciousness. Natural alchemy also plays a role at this time. Elements like chlorophyll extracted from plants enhance the body's ability to absorb sunlight, strengthening the connection with this frequency. Monatomic gold, present in ancient alchemical traditions, was used to activate the pineal gland and expand perception beyond the physical. Solar elixirs, made by energizing water under the sun's light, were used to store this vibration and distribute it throughout the following days. None of this is superstition or empty mysticism. These are ancient practices based on the direct interaction between nature and human consciousness. The equinox doesn't just happen outside, it happens within each of us. And those who choose to cross it consciously have the opportunity to access a deeper level of transformation. Your life is about to change. If this message found you, know that it wasn't by chance. The ancients taught that certain words, symbols, and signs appear at the exact moment we are ready to receive them. The equinox is not just a celestial event, it's a calling, a bridge between what was and what is about to be. You feel it, don't you? Something inside you knows the time has come. There are moments in life when reality seems to rearrange itself around us. Small synchronicities begin to appear. Intense dreams, unexpected intuitions, encounters that change the course of destiny. When a portal like the equinox opens, these manifestations intensify. It's as if the universe itself is whispering that a new cycle is ready to begin, but it's up to each of us to listen to that call. In ancient traditions, it was said that those who received signs near the equinox were being prepared for an irreversible transformation. Not a small change, but a true transmutation. Just as the serpent sheds its skin or the phoenix rises from the ashes, this is a moment where an old self dissolves to make way for something entirely new. The process may seem subtle at first, but once it begins, there's no turning back. If this message has reached you, it means you're ready to cross this threshold. But this passage doesn't happen automatically. It requires a conscious choice. You can ignore the signs, stay in your routine, and let this energy pass unnoticed. Or you can choose to walk toward the unknown, knowing that by doing so, something inside you will never be the same again. The equinox is a portal, and like all portals, it won't stay open forever. It represents a unique moment, a crack in the fabric of time where the energy of transformation manifests at full force. But this force can only be accessed by those who truly choose to step through it. Crossing it means opening yourself to a new perception. It means leaving behind beliefs, patterns, and fears that no longer serve your journey. It means recognizing that the external world has always been a reflection of your internal vibration, and that by changing within, everything around you will inevitably shift as well. And now, the choice is before you. Will you stay in the same cycle, repeating the same stories? Or will you take a step forward, accepting that you're ready for something greater? The portal is open. The time is now. Are you ready to walk through it? And before you go, there's something very important waiting for you. I've set aside a special video to help you take the next step on this journey. A deeper dive into everything we've talked about here, showing you how to apply it in a real and practical way in your life. So don't leave just yet. Click on the video that's appearing on your screen right now, and let's meet there. See you on the other side.